I did that to get out of my depressive slump. That's what you do. If you're sad and you're surrounded by sadness, what's the best way to cure that? You try and find something that's happy.
Choose happiness.
You choose happiness.
Yeah. You have that ability.
Exactly. When I was going to therapy, I still remember to this day, one of the first questions they asked me was, do you feel like you deserve to be happy? And at first I said no. And then one day, I just saw a bunch of people enjoying their lives, and I was like, why can't that be me? You know what? F that. Like, I want that to be me. I want that. And then I was like, you know, I deserve to be happy. And then one day it just clicked. And I just went on a roll and just never looked back. Always choose happiness. It may sound selfish, but you need to be selfish at times in this
100%,
world.
yeah.
There are so many people out there that need help. And it is devastating that the fact that these people can't get the help that they need. There are third world civilizations out there that are starving. There's world hunger, all that stuff. And if I live every day thinking about that, I'm never going to be able to get any sleep at night. And it's terrible. If I could donate, if I had the money, I would at times, but I was born in my circumstance. It's unfortunate that they were born in their circumstance, but I need to live life to the best of my ability and the way that I can live it, because this was the position that I was put in. So might as well not look at all the negative stuff.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 45th episode of the Conscious Cast. I'm your host, Cal, along with my other great friend and fellow podcaster, Mr. Mario, aka the Big Fudge from the Big Fudge Podcast. All right, so introduce yourself, my man. Give the people a little introduction on your life.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Big Fudge. Nah, I was just kidding. That's my nickname, but my name's Mario, and Cal here's a fellow podcaster himself. He's great. Conscious Cal Podcast. He's got the whole thing going.
Sir.
And yeah, pretty much it's been a great journey. I know you've had your own journey as well, being a podcaster, man. It's been absolutely fun. I'm not, if I'm being completely honest, I don't post super consistently, like 3 days a week, but I do have people on. I will whenever I feel
really
like
good
it's
too.
Necessary. I'll post something, but it's been fun. I plan on making it a lifelong thing. I try not to toot my own horn. I mean, lots of people think I'm funny here and there, so I try and bring that energy whenever I can. But, no, but it's been a great journey, man, and it's really great to be here. I appreciate you.
Of course, man. I really appreciate you coming in and you know, just having another guest on the podcast. You know, just branching out.
Is this your first guest?
Oh, ever? I've had. I believe you're my technically third, almost fourth. So so you've invested a lot of money. You know, you've invested a lot of time and effort into your podcast. So, like, what made you really want to? We've touched on this before, but for people that don't know, what made you really want to dive into getting into podcasts? Because I know you said you got into like journalism with the Bengals. You know, not like an official journalist for the Bengals, but you know, kind of like a freelance type of thing.
Nice. Yes, that's a great question. So I during quarantine, well, not when I had COVID, but when COVID first hit,
the big boy
everybody was
locked
staying,
down.
Everybody was staying inside. I just got bored, and I was like, you know what? I really want to start a podcast. And this wasn't no ordinary, I want to just start something and then let it phase out in a week. Like, I genuinely just found a passion on the rise and wanted to take advantage of it in terms of, I was like, you know what? I'm going to totally deck out my room and shameless plug, but if you were to check out like my Instagram, you could totally see my
check
room
it out,
and my posters and everything.
It'll be in the description.
But if you, so I got posters and I got a table and I got the mics and I ended up having to get a MacBook Air, and I just slowly, it was a slow grind and a slow process to the point where it was gonna for me. So personally, if you ask me, if you want to start something, just start it. If you want to become the greatest artist of all time, you got to draw something. You got to paint something. You got to start somewhere. So that's my advice to anyone listening or watching. But for me, if I want to do something, at times I want to make sure it's to my liking or choosing. So I ended up getting a bunch of posters of shows and movies I grew up watching or have a respect for. A lot of celebrities and artists that I listen to and stuff like that. So it's been really fun, man. And you said it's gonna be
a lifelong journey, and that's so true, because I feel like when I first I've mentioned to you this before, when Cole first brought the idea to my attention, I was like, a podcast, what? But then when I started to get into it, and I've never really been an individual that's enjoyed watching podcasts, but definitely I do enjoy it once I get into it, kind of get over that hump of like, it's like you watching a new TV show, you know, it takes a few episodes to get into it, and then you're like, oh yes. Like, so like, for instance, the Joe Rogan podcast. But I remember when Cole first brought it up to me, and I was like, at first, I was just thinking about it. I was like, God. But Cole really pushed me to, in terms of like, yo, let's have this conversation. You know, let's record it, see where it goes. If it's shitty, let's not post it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it was just me and him. The setup was literally, we brought a table down from his downstairs living room, got 2 chairs in his upstairs living room, and just talked. The quality of the camera was terrible, but I enjoyed it so much. And you know, as soon as I did that for the first time, I knew I would never want to stop doing this podcast thing, because it's just being able to express yourself, being able to just, I guess, have your own niche or just talk about what you want to talk about.
And that's the goal.
Yeah, that is the goal.
And that's the goal. You wanna be able to talk about the things you like or the things that's going on to your choosing. And the number one thing is you gotta love it. Yeah. If you don't love it, then you're not really gonna go far, and it's gonna phase out or fizz out real quick. So I respect that. See, you literally said that someone came to you, pitched an idea, and you just went with it.
Yeah. Go with the flow.
And it sucks because for me, the whole podcast thing, it was like me and I'm.
But that's also very.
I'm lazy. I'm lazy for the most part. For me to say I gotta keep sticking with this, I gotta keep saying I gotta get this. Now I gotta get that, and I really gotta watch all these YouTube tutorials and learn how to use Final Cut Pro, learn how to use editing software, stuff like that. It's a grind. It's a grind. But if you like it, and if you want to stick with something, you gotta make sure that you hone in on those.
Yeah, you did it in baby steps, though, right?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, because it was like, I remember you first had the idea, and then you slowly started to make steps towards having an official podcast. Yeah, and so I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you said it took like a whole year to get to the setup and the point where you're at, right?
Yeah. So I pretty much if people were to look at my room. So my room's in my basement.
I'll throw some images up on the screen too.
Yeah, sounds good. But my room is in the basement of my place. Yep. So it's kind of like having this own mini apartment, like one floor apartment.
It's really
downstairs. And so I maybe had. This is a little cool story. So I pretty much had nothing down there. I cleared out everything and put some of the stuff into my actual room where I sleep. And I just had 2 chairs, and I invited some of my friends over, and I said, I'm gonna make this a man cave. Within the next year. And they thought I was kind of crazy. And it's not like I was saying I'm going to be a millionaire in 6 months. I just said I'm going to make this a man cave. Watch how this unfolds. Poster after poster. And I eventually got a couple couches, and then came the table, and then came the new TV. And then came
it's a nice setup, man.
And I just one day at a time. 1 month at a time. Every sunrise and sunset, you find a new way.
Were you recording podcasts during that year, like in that setup, or did you wait like a full year and then started to do that?
Yeah, so I listened to podcasts religiously. So I never mentioned that earlier, but that was how I already had the background in terms of podcasting, because I was so into it already. But I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
Yeah. So did you start podcasting as you were setting yourself?
Yeah. So no. But like you said with the Bengals thing. Yeah. So I'm a
Bengals, that's right.
Yeah, I'm a Bengals fan. For those that
here, just move the mic a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah, you're good.
For those that wanted to know. So I pretty much was like, you know what? I know so much about my team, and there's no Bengals fans in the area. Yep. Why not just vent about it, sort of objectively, but at the same time with my opinion involved. And then I just talk about it, and I know nobody will watch, but it will give me the experience of talking to them. Because this isn't easy.
Yeah, no, it's not.
This is not easy. This will phase a lot of people, and they'll be like. I try to stay away from that word. Certain other words.
I'm fucking it too. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you got to practice somewhere. And for me, I wanted to practice on something that I liked, and it was easy to talk about. And then boom, as soon as I started having guests on one after another, I was just free flowing it, and then they were. And
that's a great segue, man, because the guest you provide, or the experience you provide for your guest it's top tier. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like. So if you guys don't know, pretty much he'll walk you, he'll be like, okay, Cal, you here? He'll walk out to your car, come with you, and then we'll go down into the man cave, where the podcast room is at. He'll play some music, make you nice and comfortable. Not to seduce you. And it's the entire experience. And we have the podcast at the end, I get to put my own image up on the screen. We take a picture. I get to sign a poster, and it's like that whole entire, what made you want to do that? Provide that for like what gives you the idea? What made you want to do it? You know, that type of experience.
So yeah,
that's really cool though. You know?
I feel like when you go throughout the course of life, you pick up on things that you look at and you go, wow, that is so cool. I would love to do that myself. Kind of like the whole, I want to be like Mike. Everyone wants to be like Michael Jordan or something. Just that, for example. You wanna be like other people in a way. And actually, he might not even realize this, but a good buddy of mine, he also has his own little man cave in his basement, and he had a bunch of his friends like sign one poster. And I just looked at that. I was like, whoa, like maybe I can kind of incorporate that into my thing. And then you pick up another thing. So for me, I also look at me and you, we're cool, but we never had any prior past.
Not really.
So whether it's you or a close friend of mine, the mic still intimidates a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
So you want to try and break him in and make him comfortable. And then when the music's going, you're just chilling, having small talk, and then I'm like, okay, are you ready? Then we start going, and I'll try and get the flow, upbeat, and then as soon as I ask you a question that finally gets you to open up, boom, that's my in. That's my in, and then all of a sudden they start talking like this and using a lot of hand motions, and that's kind of the goal. Because when you have someone on, just like you said, you want to make sure they're comfortable. It's their episode. You want to make sure that they feel like their episode was unique in its own way, which I try to make it. So And also for you were the first person. So if you go and watch it, I'm like, great podcast, the Cowboys. How's it going? I put in the clap. Just
Let's get it going.
The audience
that's
good. Yeah,
I like that.
A little tidbit, but it's been awesome.
Yeah, and so I think something that you've like obviously with like providing that experience, you know, I think that is something that in my own thing, I think that I need to provide more in terms of like, you know, because eventually, like, I don't want to, I'm not going to be able to stay here forever, you know, like, if I want to continue this podcast, I need to create my own studio, you know, and that's a great, like, you are a great model for me to,
if you need help, I'd love to.
Here are my services. No, but yeah, it's like, it's such a great thing because it really does, ease that pressure of people speaking in front of a microphone. And I think just like, even if like people don't want to do a podcast, like, what if someone just like wanted to take their phone and just like do a video with like a selfie, you know, just like speak their, like kind of like you, like speak their truth, you know, just talking to a phone, you know, like,
better than nothing.
Yeah, better than nothing.
Anything is always better than nothing.
Very true.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, because here's the thing, trying is failing. Without failing, there is no success.
Yeah.
Other than a person who their parents were incredibly wealthy and just passed down the wealth, to the generational wealth type of stuff.
Yeah.
Unless that's the case, more times than not, you have to find a way to build up your own empire, build up your own successful brand.
Yeah.
So if you're scared, at some point you have to take that jump. You have to take the leap. And to be honest, I love how I'm going to use this as an analogy because I hate skydiving. And everyone always says it's not the jump that's scary and like what's after the jump. It's the right before the jump. Right before you jump out of the plane or the helicopter, whatever. That's the most terrifying point. And then once you're free falling, it's just absolute bliss. So I would never go skydiving personally. But when it comes to podcasting or whatever, as soon as you upload that first video and people give you you'll have congratulations, this and that. Eventually all that fizzes away. It fades away and a little less people start to view. But it's all about consistency and building it up and just trust the process. And whether people give you 1,000,000 likes, no likes at all, people are watching. Trust me. People pay attention to those who are trying to make it in this world. So
definitely.
So whether you feel left out, you feel like you're doing your best and you're not getting enough attention or the results you want, just stick to it. Stick to it and
100%. And like that, dude, that parallels with really just any type of dream you want in your life, you know, because like that analogy is perfect, you know, or whether it be going up to a girl in the gym and talking to her, like, it's just that idea in your head that seems so frightening, you know, but then like once you get over that hump of say turning on the camera or going onto a podcast or saying hi to that girl and then starting a conversation with them, it's just that getting over that initial barrier is the hardest barrier, right? And so whether or not your goal is to be incredibly successful or, you know, to make like, or just to have her as your girlfriend or whatever, you know, whatever the dream path is, or whatever, I think once you just get over that hump, and that hump starts like, because like the hump is the biggest the first time you do it, right? And then as you start to do it, it slowly trickles down, right? And so then it just becomes normalized, right? So like I remember for me personally, when I first started to post link my podcast on my Instagram and stuff for like all my friends from high school and, you know, people that I know that had no idea about this to see, I was like, oh my God, are they going to judge me? Like I had such this fear. And then like now I don't even like, obviously sometimes, depending on the content I'm posting, but it's like, I don't even care. Like, it's not even a big deal.
Yeah.
And so did you feel that like when you first started posting podcasts?
Well,
like
very anxious and of what people would think?
Yeah, because people didn't know about it immediately, right?
Oh, so what I did was I did a promo video before, because I try to see, because a lot of people don't know that I have a lot of videos saved on Snapchat of me just doing the funniest shit.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I love making funny stuff like that, where I'll just pretend to be something. Like one time during quarantine, I literally shaved my head bald. I literally was one of those people because I was bored. I was bored.
Dude, that's awesome.
And there's a Hall of Fame NBA player named Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yep.
You may know. And I also had that, like the NBA goggles, and when I was bald, the first thing I did, literally the first thing I did, was I just pretended to do a signature skyhook and like did the just jogged away and I sent all my friends and they were crying.
Oh my God.
I enjoy being that like people. So my idea was before I started my first podcast episode was I'm gonna wear a robe, and you could I don't know if you've seen it, but you can check it out. But I was wearing a robe. And I was just sitting there, and I literally had a Bible right next to me, and a glass of wine. At the time, I didn't have any wine in the house, so I just put like grape juice, and it was just sitting right next to the wine. And I had there's this thing on Netflix called like fireplace thing, and it's literally just a burning fire.
God, that's awesome.
In the background on my TV, and you know you've seen the TV. So I'm just sitting there, and I'm just giving a whole spiel about why I'm starting a podcast and stuff. And
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Eventually, I'm like, hey, like can't wait to have you guys on, and I got a lot of feedback.
Dude, you know what I love about that too? Like, okay, at least my initial impression of it, like, yeah, you're serious about it, but like, it doesn't feel like when you're watching as a viewer, it doesn't seem that serious. Like you got a dude with a robe on. Like, it's like, guys, I'm starting a podcast, and it's like that's a great way to really just, I guess, ease your viewers' initial discomfort too, as well. Because
be yourself.
Yeah, just be yourself, you know. And it's like if you could find a funny avenue and like. I'd be like, yeah, guys, I'm starting a podcast. Yeah, make sure you guys continue to watch rather than like got the fire going in the background and be like, I'm starting a podcast, baby. Right. And it's like, dude, that's so cool, man. I didn't know you did that. That was awesome.
No, seriously, it was dope as hell. And just shout out to my boy Big Al, man. He helped film the whole thing. And it was funny because I had a lot of mess ups just as with any actor. With a monologue. So that's what I wrote my own monologue, and I had to memorize what I was going to say.
That's sick.
And I had to memorize. At one point, was I going to stand up and then start walking and talking? And it was just so funny because there's points where I'm like, so everybody, like, welcome. I'm going to be starting a podcast, and then as I start walking, I like almost tripped one time, and then I was like. I was cussing up a storm. It was so awesome.
Dang. So when you first did that whole type of skit thing, saying you're going to do a podcast, like were you a little bit anxious when you were doing that, or was it?
Well, I think there's going to be anxiety in any new thing you try, but it was something I wanted to do for so long, and I worked so hard at building up the whole place. It would be a disservice to myself if I didn't.
Gotcha.
So I was nervous for the post. What are people gonna think? But a lot of my friends put it on their story. They thought it was funny. They thought it was dope. It was different.
Yeah.
But then, like I said earlier, eventually people just don't treat you like the new kid on the block, the new star on the rise. And you're just another person. And that's honestly what I love to be. I love to be in the middle. Because people know you, and I like when people know me, and you know people, and you walk down the street, someone says, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" I enjoy that. But at the same time, it's not like I'm here. For those who are watching, where you're too high, and everybody knows you, and they're mobbing you. But I also don't want to be felt. I don't want to be left out. If that makes sense. You don't want to be the person that has no connections and not a lot of friends or people that make them feel good. Find those people that make you feel good in life, because they'll really help you achieve your dreams and your goals in life.
Especially having that support group around you. Because like when you said, like when I first posted the podcast and all my boys were supporting me, you know, like that's awesome, you know, because like you feel like you have this solid group of people that believe in you and that support you and will help you along this journey when times get tough, you know. But for me, in my own personal case, like I really didn't have anybody that would like repost it. I mean, like I'm not like saying this to get like empathy or whatever. I'm just telling you how it is. It's like when I post podcasts and I like introduce it, really, I mean, this is to my own benefit. Like I only have a few close friends, you know, like I really don't go out of my way to text a lot of people, and that's just how it is for me, and that's how I prefer it to be. Right. So, and on that basis, and not a lot of people are going to like repost it on their stories, not going to like redo this. But I found in my own experience, it's just like, man, it's just like, I care about this so much. It shouldn't matter what other people think. So even though it is really good to have that support group around you, I don't think individuals should place their focus on being like, oh, okay, if others aren't supporting me, I'm not going to do this, right? Because I think for you, in your own case, I think even if you didn't have your friends around you, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you would have done it regardless, even if you didn't have necessarily like your friends supporting you, because you were just so passionate about it.
Yeah,
you know?
I think you're right.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. You know,
I think I would, but there's the whole butterfly effect of thing. Because one of my friends was the first person that ever introduced me to Joe Rogan. I knew Joe Rogan as just the fight commentator guy, never the podcast.
Gotcha.
And once that world was opened up, it just I never looked back. So yeah, I do agree that I think at some point I would have found something that I would have wanted to do, but having that support cast it goes a long way. Because you want those people in your ear that are telling you, go for it, go for it. It's kind of like a coach in a basketball game where they drop the last play for you. They believe in you. You want someone to invest their confidence in you. Because money aside, emotions can be investments in a way. If I'm investing 100%. My trust, I'm investing my confidence, I'm investing my faith in you. That's enough power to make you freaking want to run for president.
Especially when you don't believe in yourself. And I think luckily for me, like I was able to overcome that barrier mainly by myself. But for a lot of individuals that don't have that support group, it's very tough for them, and they'll never ever pursue their dreams, what they really want to do. And it's sad. And it really is sad, because I was just talking about this in the last episode with Jason. It's like these people go to a 9-to-5 job, right? And so like when you bring up what you want to do, whether that be I want to be a full-time podcaster, I want to be, I want to be a basketball player, like something like that, your dream, right? And you tell someone that has a 9-to-5 job that hates 95% of their life and only enjoys the weekends where they go golfing and get drunk with their friends, right? Yeah. Jason said this perfectly. He said, when you try to take advice from someone who's not in a happy place, right? They're giving you advice from an unhappy place. True. So on that basis, why would you listen to their opinions if following your own path, following your own journey brings you the most happiness, right? So like, why would you take advice from someone that's unhappy, that doesn't know how to be happy themselves, right? And so I think with that, it's very interesting too, because like I was saying before, when individuals are having a conversation, like what they want to do, what their dream is, they get this gut punch, right? They get this like, oh, I'm gonna say like, oh, I'm going to school to be a doctor. I'm going to school, but even though that's not what they really want to do, right? They want to be a podcaster or something like that instead. I think when they face that gut punch, when they face that kind of, I guess you could say,
rejection. Yeah,
rejection in a sense, and like when people aren't as accepting. It does make it very hard. But when they have that support group, when they have people around them that really believe in them, regardless of what strangers, or maybe they're a waiter like me and they're just talking to a customer, right? And just really like like when you're talking to like someone you really don't know, do you like advocate that you have a podcast? Or do you kind of like keep it a little bit more low key?
I definitely keep it low key. Yeah. It's funny. I don't even tell people to say it, but sometimes I'm around people. They're like, oh, Jay's podcast. Bro, chill. I'm not that type of person. I try not to make a big deal out of it.
Yep.
Now, let's say there was, I call it the big kahuna, right? Let's say there's someone you would really love on, and that person would bring you lots of attention, but you're not bringing them on solely for attention. You also know for a fact you would love to have them on. Yep. So for me, I love music. So if somehow I just saw, I'm going to name a random person, not necessarily my favorite. So let's say like Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
If I saw Jack Harlow, big dude, like I know you're totally busy. Yeah. But look, brother, like I got a podcast. I would love to have you on. Even 10 minutes of conversation.
Yeah.
I would love to bring you in or have you on, even if it's on Zoom, whatever the
Yeah,
case.
yeah.
And if he said no, I'm not going to take offense to it.
Yeah.
And if there's people out there that they think you're weird or whatever, I'm not going to take offense to it, because to me, you can't be the hero in everyone's story. And sometimes you're going to be the villain, but you're not always going to be the main character in other people's lives. You got to be your own main character.
100%.
So I think if you just let time work its magic and just trust your process, it's very hard to fail if you just stick to anything, really.
Yeah, I mean, because, like, it really depends on, like, what your goal is, you know? If your goal is to, I guess, say, like, just be consistent on YouTube with making a podcast, making videos, right? And you're posting maybe, like, one video a week, one video a month, whatever it be, you know? Like, and you're not attached. Like, your goal is not to get views, not to get subscribers. You're being successful in that area, right? Just because your goal is to post consistently on YouTube. And like you said, as time goes on, right, the more consistent you are, those views will be a byproduct, because as you said before, you learn over time, right? You progress, and like, I'm sure the quality from your first podcast has is not, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, there's definitely a difference in quality from your first one to your last one, you know?
There always will be.
Yeah.
Because you notice those things, and then eventually, let's say, because you brought up someone earlier where you said they record something on their phone. Let's say they do go that route. Eventually, maybe not, I could be wrong. They'll get tired of it, and they'll say, okay, now I want this. And you got to learn how to go do that. You can't always have someone spoon feed you in this world. You just can't. Eventually, you have to
take control.
You got to pick up the shovel and go to work, man. Seriously, because if you don't learn at some point, then there will be a point in time where you wish you did know, and everyone else around you is just running circles around you while you're still taking those baby steps. So it's always good to pick up those skills.
I think this is what you told me one time. I think it's like, maybe not one of your big fears, but I think you don't want to, like, I remember you told me, like, you don't want there to be a time when all your friends grow up, right? I mean, if you could pick up what I'm saying.
That was in terms of going out and living life, and that applies. That can apply to this. So I personally, you always hear people say the term extroverted, introverted. I think I'm an extroverted introvert. So what I mean by that is, so for us, we're having this moment right here, right now, just us two. Whether it's you, maybe 4 other people, small group, we can all laugh together to a blue in the face, and I won't be afraid of none of you, and we'll just have a grand old time. But let's say I were to go out or go to the club. I've never been to the club, but let's say I were to go out. Well, I never go out, and if I were to go out, I'm usually the person, and not trying to say this, like I'm forcing it, but I just naturally just chill off to the side. I'm kind of an observer, and just let the crowd and whoever's in the room kind of do their own thing, and so. I've always said this, and for those who are listening and watching, truly think about this for a second. You don't want to look back in life and just say, damn, I wish I could have done that. Wish I could have been this, could have been that. I totally could have done this, but you never did it. I wish I had a family, but you never went up to that person and made the move or whatever. Like I said on our conversation, I came from a place saying that I hope that there comes a point in time where I don't look back and say, damn, let's go out. Like, I finally want to go out. I'm ready. And I'm like late 30s and all my friends are settled down with families. As funny as it sounds. And I'm like, I'm
ready, guys.
And I'm just like, and I just start drinking like crazy. I don't drink alcohol, but you don't want to be that person. And it actually sounds really tragic. It sounds like the end of a movie or something where the person's like, guys, like I did it. Like I'm ready. And then they're all just not there anymore. You don't want to be that person. So I advise you now, whether you have to listen to every single episode this guy makes, whether you have to follow all the inspirational pages on Instagram, get that stuff in your face now. Because every morning you wake up and you see somebody giving an inspiring speech about take action now, don't settle, all that stuff, it's going to subconsciously be planted in the back of your mind to the point where you see something and you're like, I want it. And I know I want it. One way or another.
And it comes really back down to that barrier that we were talking about before. let's just say someone's, looking at all this type of stuff on Instagram, right? Where they're just, constantly getting this motivation, this immediate motivation. And they have no, I guess you could say, necessarily a habit or discipline to really get them over that barrier every single time. And so I think for a lot of people, man, if they're stuck in this case where they have their dreams in the back of their head, right?
Yep.
And when they're faced with them, and they think about it like, okay, maybe I should invest in a camera. Maybe I should, start going to the gym. Maybe I should start eating healthy. They're just like, yeah, I could, or I could just keep doing what I'm doing, which is not that. And so every single time, and I know this in my own case, when it comes to, I guess, working out, when I want to try like a new exercise, I'm just like, I just stay with the exercise that I'm already doing because my body's already accustomed to it. Yep. It's used to it, and it doesn't feel as, I don't have to put in as much mental energy to get over that barrier, right? Yep. And so that's a mini example, but when it really comes to pursuing your dreams, it takes a hell of a lot more mental energy at first, right? Yep. But like we said before, that first time is the hardest time, right? And so as you're able to get over that, like use that mental energy, be like, man, fuck this, I'm just gonna do it. Your heart's going through your chest, and it's like, it's probably not going to go according to how you want it to, right? But you did it, right? And you got that experience, right? And Absolutely. So most likely you failed, right? In terms of, I guess, whatever standard you put up on it, right? But this time you're not starting from nothing. You have experience, right? And experience is such a valuable trait because experience gives you knowledge that allows you to progress in such a great way, because every single time you fail, every single time maybe you post a video or a podcast, or you I guess keep on trying to go up to a girl, right? You'll learn different types of things, right. And you'll I guess you could say adjust yourself accordingly, and start to develop new habits and behaviors that will help you achieve that end. And I think that's like, we both experienced that when it comes to podcasting, when it comes to just really anything in our life too.
Think of it this way. Rome wasn't built in a day. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Tom Brady was a 6th round pick. And I know for a fact that the first rocket ship to go to the moon, that whole process was so trial and error, and I don't know how long it took, but it definitely took a long time. Yeah. If you start something, and you, let's say you pick up the pencil and just write a sentence, and then let's say you're trying to write a story, and nothing's coming to you. You picked up that pencil and you started at least, at the very least. It might sound like a joke, but it's better than maybe 40% of the people out there that never even decided to grab the pencil and paper. You got to start somewhere, and then day by day, you slowly see the progress. Just like when it comes to the gym. You work out once, you don't see the results you want, you quit. A lot of people are like that. And I know where you're coming from. I know that place. But if you truly stick to it, to the point where it's just second nature, you will see them at some point. And at that, just like you said, results, views, whatever that
be a byproduct,
whatever that number is. All that goes out the window, and to the point where you just enjoy it. You're just enjoying the ride. Why do you think there's so many successful people out there that, like a Markiplier on YouTube? That guy has some PewDiePie. Some of the biggest YouTubers of all time, and those dudes are still posting stuff to the point, and they have enough money to where they can be done.
They don't need to do it.
They really don't need to, but they enjoy doing it, and those are people I have respect for, because there's a vast majority of people that they'll try and pillage or verbally attack a lot of successful and wealthy people out there. But look at it this way. Are those people sitting on their ass and doing nothing? Or are they still working off, like their asses off, and trying to, I don't know about making a living because they have all that money, but they're still going strong because they believe in their product or whatever it is they're doing. It's just second nature to them. So I think if you just stick to it, and it's going to sound repetitive, but it has to, because you have to condition yourself into liking, enjoying, or just just doing that thing.
And once you get over that initial barrier, and you really, your dream is in front of you. So whether that be for me, like or really just figuring out what your passions are in life, right? Exploring different areas of interest, right? So for you, whether that be writing about the Bengals, whether that be being a podcaster, whether that be going to the gym, it's really just about diving into those areas, right? And figuring out like what you're passionate about. So like I've always enjoyed creating content. Like I used to create Black Ops 2 content back in the day, of me trick shotting, and like I used to do that. And I used to create like video game content, and I was like, I would always do it for a little bit, and then I was like, nah, but I always enjoyed creating content, right? And so I eventually found self-growth, self-improvement, and I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is what I'm in. So I think it's really about finding skills that you like. So whether that be the Bengals in journalism, right? Coupling those things together, right? And that will allow you to make long-term progress, right? Because you have to enjoy what you're doing, right? And as we said before, doing something is better than nothing, right? And so I remember my journalism teacher, like freshman year, I think, said this. He's like, just start writing, just start writing and see where it goes. Rather than you just sitting there staring at a blank screen, if you have like a crappy sentence in your head, just start writing it, right? Because that crappy sentence, look at that as like your first failure, right? Yeah. That first failure will help you, I guess, kind of open more doors and see more gateways into different areas that you might not have seen, as opposed to just staring at the screen, right? So just start writing, just start getting into it, just start exploring areas of interest, and you'll start to learn about what you like and what you're passionate about, and maybe figure out a dream or a plan or a goal that you want to explore.
Let me ask you something. Yeah. Are you the type of person that believes do what you're good at and let everything sort itself out? Or are you the type of person that says do what you love and then the rest will... Because some people say eventually when you're doing what you're good at will lead to you loving what you do because you're making...
I think you got to do what you're good at, but you got to do what you like as well at the same time too. Because I brought this example up one time with Jason. He's like, what if like LeBron's son, like he's gifted at basketball, right? But he doesn't like basketball. Like, he's obviously bound for the NBA. I mean, I don't know, Bronny. Maybe I think he's bound for the NBA. Yeah. But like, what if he didn't like basketball, right? Like that like he may be, and this comes back into like, oh, he's just like maybe boxers, right? They're so naturally gifted athletes. Like take two boxers, right? Yep. A boxer's of similar skill level, right? Someone who gets into a boxing ring and who is just so much more naturally gifted, right? Yep. As opposed to a boxer who is not as naturally gifted, but works their fucking ass off because they love to do it. Yep. Who do you think's going to win?
Hard work always beats talent.
Hard work always beats talent, And so I think that's a great analogy too, because if you can really develop that hard work and passion for something and you like it too, man, that's a recipe for success.
I will say though, for the Bronny example, good example, but the problem with that, there is a problem with that. And a lot of people don't think about this.
Yeah, no, I'm
when you have that amount of money, you could eventually pay for training to be good at something else.
Yeah, for
That's the only...
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but no, you're totally right there.
Yeah,
great example. But seriously though, if I had the amount of money, I mean, they'll make me look like Picasso by the next day. It's crazy. Yeah. But that's...
Yeah, of course.
That's a great point that you make. And then, let me tell you guys something for those who are watching and listening.
Yep.
Another key thing when it comes to any of this is fake it till you make it. Such a really like I can't even. It's such an invaluable.
Elaborate on that.
Yeah, I got you. It's such an invaluable trait.
Yeah. Or I think a lot of people would interpret that be like be fake. You're not like
no. So what I mean by that is, even if you are depressed, and I once was depressed, even if you are, just put on a smile. Put on a smile. Be around people.
Yep.
Because if you think of it as a circuit. If you close yourself off from a circuit, the fuse just goes out, and the circuit will never fully be conducted and just go around. You want to make sure that you give yourself any possible chance at doing something that you enjoy, doing something you're good at, doing something you like, and being around those people that will help you in that process. Because let me tell you something. I might seem so confident right now and like I have a lot of money in the bank. Well, let me tell you guys something. I don't. I don't have a lot of money in the bank. I'm in school right now. I pay for school by myself. I might seem like I'm going through or having a really great stretch or time period in my life. Let me tell you something. It's actually pretty difficult. Like I'm not saying I'm miserable right now, but it's not as sunshine and rainbows as it might seem. So let me tell you something. And I'm a very lazy person. If I can do it, I promise you can too. You will find a way.
Yeah.
And I think we'll all find a way together.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Like right now, for all you're just looking at me and I seem so suave. And
Yeah.
But for all you know, I'm not saying I do, but I could owe somebody or like the school like thousands of dollars right now. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna have to bust my ass to pay him back. And it's just sad. There's a lot of people out there where they let that cloud over their heads get to them. And I'm telling you, man, just keep being you. And for me personally, because you talked about how you're very you meditate and how you're very spiritual in that sense. And for me, it's God. I think if you find a way to believe in some sort of divine, whether it's a power or something 100%. That makes you be the best version of yourself that you can be, I think that it goes a long way. And I think that it allows you to not live every day in fear and not live every day being held back by just a thought. Yeah. So, yeah, we're just two podcasters. We're just chilling right now, having a really in tune in the moment conversation. But seriously, just think about it. It's not like we're just spitting shit to you guys. Like seriously, we truly believe in improvement and dedication and consistency. And without any of those things, I mean, I'm not gonna say what's there to live for, but like you gotta find something to live for. Yeah. Find your purpose. Yeah, I literally saw this really sad video yesterday of a YouTuber, and he had he committed suicide, and he posted one of those like farewell videos.
Oh shit, yeah.
And it was I was looking at that and I was like, dude, I don't know what that guy did, but he had everything going for him, and it's like, what the heck? So think about it this way, man. If there's people out there where they're super successful and they're still miserable, like find that in between where you can be successful, where you can be good and still be. And that's why I enjoy that I came from a point where I already went through the rough patches of being depressed, because I know what it's like to be there, and I know what it's like to be here. Well, not necessarily like really up here, gotcha. But when you find that that balance, it is just so you just live every day just by the day. You don't worry about the then or the before. That's why it's called the present. It's true, and it sounds cliche, but that's why it's called the present. It's a gift.
It's a gift.
Enjoy the now. Tomorrow's a mystery. The past is the past, and you know it's just a really beautiful thing. Yesterday, let me tell you something. I was looking at a sunset yesterday on my damn front steps. And now I'm gonna shed a tear because I was just so appreciative. Seriously, I'm a sucker for sunsets. I would put the phone down for a sec if you're ever looking at a sunset. And just watch. And just sun gaze.
Sun gaze, man.
But just look out at that sunset, man, and just think about where you came from to get to that moment where you were just looking up at the sky, just going, "Wow." It hits you different. Yeah, it really and it's really cool. Just being able to live life up to this point, or at least at this point in time, just being yourself and not being afraid of all the other problems that surround you. They don't faze you as much anymore. It's nice.
Yeah, because you're really being who you are. You know what I mean? And it's like, I see that within you, you know, like I don't know. I just like, even when you told me about when you first started the podcast with your robe and the wine and the, you know, the fire in the background, it's just like, you're just being who you are. You don't give a shit.
I don't need to put on a face anymore.
Exactly,
and I'm telling you, the fake it till you make it works. Like me, I did that to get out of my depressive slump. That's what you do. If you're sad and you're surrounded by sadness, what's the best way to cure that? You try and find something that's happy.
Choose happiness.
You choose happiness. And once
you have that ability.
Exactly. Yeah. When I was going to therapy, I still remember to this day, one of the first questions they asked me was, "Do you feel like you deserve to be happy?" And at first I said no. And then one day, I just saw a bunch of people enjoying their lives, and I was like, "Why can't that be me? You know what? F that. Like, I want that to be me. I want that." And then I was like, "You know, I deserve to be that." And then one day it just clicked. And I just went on a roll and just never looked back. Always choose happiness. It may sound selfish, but you need to be selfish at times in this
100%,
world.
yeah.
Let me tell you something. There are so many people out there that need help. And it is devastating that the fact that these people can't get the help that they need. There are third world civilizations, if I'm saying that correctly, but out there that are starving. There's world hunger, all that stuff. And if I live every day thinking about that, I'm never going to be able to get any sleep at night. And it's terrible, but if I could donate, if I had the money, I would at times, but at the same time, I was born in my circumstance.
Yep.
It's unfortunate that they were born in their circumstance, but I need to live life to the best of my ability and the way that I can live it, because this was the position that I was put in. So might as well not look at all the negative stuff like we talked about. And damn it, if let's say you were in your slump and I was helping you so much, but like we were talking about earlier, you were trying to give me advice. Like, how can you take advice from a sad person? It's very hard to, especially if they're thinking the worst possible thoughts. Hey, Cal, I'm going to start a podcast. But what if you only get a couple viewers? I'm like, bro, like, who cares? Just start it. No, it sucks.
Yeah.
But when it comes to that point in time where I say, hey, let me tell you something. I have tried to help you so much. When you're ready to join me, I'll let you join me. But for now, I'm going to let you do your thing. And then we can reconvene in a couple days, a week, a month, however long it takes you. But at some point, it's like I've given you so much of my energy. I need to save some for myself before I burn out. And you don't want to. That's the thing. It's like when you try and rescue a drowning person, they might bring you down with them. That's one of the that's like a true thing I hear.
Because they're trying to they're so desperate. 100%.
So in this world, there's times where it's great to help people, but make sure you take care of yourself at night, because it shouldn't be your problem to where, let's say there was a homeless person you don't even know and you can't sleep at night, that let's say you didn't have change to give them and you just feel like a piece of shit. That's not on you. That's it's just what it is. Like there's no really better way to put it. But it's what it is.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people too, like for instance, in your example that you provided, like I'm so stressed out about those third world countries that I can't do anything about. Right? You're thinking about things that are out of your control. Right. Of course. Would you love would you love to be Bill Gates and to spend all this money and help them? Right. You'd love to, but that's not the case that you're in. Right. And you said it perfectly. Focus on the circumstance that you're in. Focus on what is in your control. Right. And you have the ability and the capacity to control your response to things, right? And so, yes, shitty situations are going to come up, right? Lack of money, just negative people around you, right? But every single time, and God, I can't believe we're hitting on this so much today. It comes back down to getting over that initial hump, right? So whether it be your friend around you or that lack of money, or, you see individuals that are happy and you're depressed, if a lot of times your comfort zone is negativity and your comfort zone, whatever your comfort zone is, right? That's just what you're used to. If you choose the path that leads you to stay where you in that unpreferable spot, right? That you're choosing that, right? And so, yes, there are external factors out of your control that may contribute to that. But if you, within your own capacity, within your own choice, within your own response, can choose things that will help you get to that other end. So maybe if you're sad, start to choose things that will help you be happy, right? And so whether that be getting rid of friends, whether that be exploring new passions, whether that be putting down the phone, right? Start to choose things, right? And get over that hump and develop new habits and behaviors that will allow you to live a preferable life and start doing the things you want to do. Because as you said before, right, we've both, maybe you have more than me, but we've both been in that spot of dissatisfaction, right, sadness, right, and maybe knowing that we can do better, right, but we genuinely believe we can't, right, when the truth of the matter is you can't, right, you just don't know.
Never tell me the odds. I'm that type of person.
Really?
I know it sounds cliche, but if someone asks me, hey, you think you could beat Michael Jordan in a one-on-one? Let's go. Give me the ball. I don't care if I fail. I always believe in myself. I don't care if it sounds delusional. Because and I'll know. Believe me, I'll know. If they're like, oh, let's see, go jump into a lava pit and see if you come out. Like, bro, I know, bro.
You're a delusional optimist, but you're also like a realist at the same time too. Like I think you got to choose the right type of delusional optimist.
Absolutely.
Because if you genuinely believe, man, that's so dangerous. So dangerous.
The power of belief is. It's incredible. And you see this all the time. There are so many people where they'll have a terminal illness, and you can either give up or you can fight it. I'm not gonna say like terminal all the time, but where it's like right there.
Very close, very close.
And they just continue to stay strong mentally because there's a quote I literally learned the other day, and I heard it was something around the life doesn't end when you die, but it ends when you stop believing, or something like that. Like just just believing in like yourself or just anything really. Yeah. Like you want to make sure that your will is one of the strongest things you have. Because I'm just like you said, man. If you can go each day, and whether it's in sports, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's at work, podcasting, people will notice that.
Yeah.
They'll
be inspired.
Let me give you an example. A camp counselor. When you have to play games with kids, the kids can pick up on if you really want to be there or not. If you really want to play those games or not. But if I'm playing dodgeball and I'm wailing, I'm like, and I'm getting hyped up. They're like, oh my god, I have to look out for this guy. Freaking beast. And people pick up and they rub, and it's an infectious energy, man. People can rub off on that. If there's people with us, they're like, oh my god, these guys seem so genuine, having a really down to earth conversation. That guy, man, like that's what's up. Like I can respect that. That people can sense that, and I don't necessarily know any of my natural gifts other than being able to be as truthful and real as I can be, because I think that's how you gain respect in this world. I'm not a fighter by any means. I'm a lover. I'm no Mike Tyson, but let me tell you something. I get my respect by being truthful and honest, and I keep it real. If I'm playing a game with a friend and he's being a little selfish, I'll tell him. I'll be like, dude, like come on, I need it. Like you're doing a good job, or I'll tell him you suck. In a respectful way. But I'll say, here's the thing. Like let's say it's basketball, 2v2. If he's taking way more shots than I am and we are not scoring, it's like, okay, I'm not saying you can't shoot anymore. Give me the balls so maybe I can help you get into a better position. It's all about give and take. And
it's a big thing too with that is what you said there was really good, because it's like it's not this division, right? Where you're on the same team. It's not this artificial division where it's like, okay, now there's 3 teams, right? The team we're facing and the team we're on, right? So it's me versus you.
Your worst enemy is always yourself, and that should never be the case.
For sure.
The only person that can beat you is you.
100%. And it's like when you said before, like fake it till you make it, right? And it's like and I think a lot. I want to address this just in case someone misinterprets it, because like I think like, oh, fake it till you make it. No, it's like I think with that too. It's maybe this isn't directly what you were saying, but you got to be whatever your dream is, and I think I could take a lot from this as well too. You have to be you have to believe in it so much, right? And believe it to the point, like obviously if your goal is to jump in lava, right? Like we're talking about real things here, like doing a podcast, right? You gotta I believe deep down in my heart, I have never been an individual that has, gotten a lot of views, that has gotten a lot of gotten to the point where I can call this like a career, you know what I mean? But I feel, and you probably feel this too, deep down within me, that I don't know, man. I just feel like something's gonna give, something's going to give where I will allow this to maybe be, it will be a part of my life forever, and but be an actual thing I can make a living off of. I feel like this could be my full-time thing. I genuinely feel that, right? And when I say that, a lot of people won't believe me, right? But
and those are the same people that are probably doing nothing, and they're just doing nothing but judging. And those are the same people that are still watching you.
And they just want to make themselves feel better for a short amount of time.
Don't do that. If you're one of those people, and be honest with yourself, don't be that person.
Be honest with yourself, but also be a delusional optimist at the same time.
It's better to be judged than to be the one who judges.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm not saying in the case if you're a horrible person, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you're able to be objective at the same time too, but believe in yourself to the point where you're not egoically putting yourself over others, right? You just believe that this dream that you have, you're just focused on yourself and focused on the lane that you're in, and you just see the end goal. So take Jason, for example. He feels deep down in his heart that he's going to be a life coach, right? And
that's what's up.
And dude, he got his he has several clients now, and he's like, I've always said this about him too. He's so good at communicating. He's so good at taking complex ideas and making it concrete, right? So we're just having a conversation. You're explaining your issue, and he'll know what concrete advice to give you, And it's just he's just so effective at doing it. And within weeks, or I don't even know, maybe a week, one to 2 weeks, he told me his clients were seeing really good progress. They're doing really, really good, And I just think with that, really just like when you know it deep down in your heart, when you know what, like when you found that passion, when you found that dream, and you just know video editing, content creation, or whatever, you know, you're just going to keep pushing towards it, and nothing is going to stop you, right? And so obviously there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be hard times, right? And you're going to get hit on your ass, you're going to fail, right? You're going to do all these things, but you'll eventually get back up, right? In a short amount of time. Maybe not, maybe it takes a week, maybe it takes a day, maybe it takes a month, maybe it takes a whole year, but you have it in the back of your head, and you're still willing to push for that end, right? And so we all go through hard times. We all go through situations that are unpreferable. But if you have that dream in mind and you have that passion, nothing, and I mean nothing, will stop you from achieving that end.
Absolutely. And there's always that situation. If you have $5,000, you just find $5,000 on the ground.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, one of the $100 bills just slips away. Yeah. You gonna let that ruin your day?
Yeah.
Or ruin that you just found that amount of money, or just gained that amount of money? Absolutely not. You shouldn't. You really shouldn't. Just be grateful that you have the rest of that money to spend or save or whatever. At the end of the day, there will be bumps and bruises, just like you said, but every time you go to sleep and wake up, it's always that's the refresh, right? That's why sleep is crucial. Seriously, it's like clicking refresh on a damn computer, and you have the chance to start again. If you are trying to be a power lifter, and let's say you were trying to hit a PR, and you, let's say, either had a setback because you accidentally like tore something, got hurt, or you just weren't feeling it that day, and you just couldn't get that number, you just couldn't hit it. There's always tomorrow, or you want to, you know, rest, maybe record yourself, look at the technique, maybe it could have been better, and then boom, you attack it with a different approach, a different mindset. And just like the power of belief, if you have the strength to bench 225, but the mental aspect isn't there, and you think you're weak, it's probably going to feel a lot heavier than it really should, because that's why you see a lot of people hype themselves up before they lift, and they're punching themselves up, because they believe that they're a monster, they're a beast in that moment, and they're going to absolutely shred that way. I mean, I've seen you in the gym, you when you're doing your freaking squats and leg day, you gotta, whether it comes to
so important,
whether it comes to weightlifting or it comes to, you want to attack it with that, just like the whole selfish thing. At that moment, it's all about you. When you like, I'm getting hyped up just thinking about it. When you go into hang clean 3 plates as a powerlifter, you're like, oh, like let's go, and then you see all those athletes on Instagram or whatever, and they hang clean it, and then everyone around them
that's awesome.
That goes back to the support thing. You want that you want that belief, you want that, and I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, life is a beautiful thing when the belief is there, when the supporting cast is there. And let me tell you something, because we never hit on this. We all forget that we live in this amazing country. And listen, dude, I know gas is terrible. Horrendous.
There's a lot of issues.
No. There's a lot of political issues, no doubt.
Yeah, of course.
But aside from that, there's places where we don't have the ability to just sit down and talk like this. Are you kidding? Like, we take so many little things for granted.
Absolutely.
There are places that don't have clean drinking water. I can go to my sink right now and just
10 feet that way and get as much as we want.
And it's a blessing. It truly is. So don't take those things for granted. And I'm telling you, man, that's why I love people that tune into podcasts, because they hear this real stuff, and there's people out there that I'm not going to say they're too lazy to just click on the link and watch something, or don't have the patience, but this is truly key information and knowledge you're getting right here. And I'm not a know-it-all by any means.
No, of course,
but I'm just a person out there that, man,
want others to know.
I try and be a beacon of light for those that don't see it, because I was that person who didn't see the light, and now that I do, it's like, holy crap. and listen, tomorrow I could have a bad day, but I know I'm not gonna let that affect me the day after. Dude, that's key,
dude. You know, when you want to hear something really funny, I literally just like 2 days ago wrote down in my notes on my phone. I was like, I was literally just I just got done with a meditation session. I was like, I started to go on my phone again, and I had this thought. I was like, I wonder if it's possible to never have a bad day again. And I started thinking. I was like, immediately, I was like, we all have bad days, right? We all have shitty days. But then I started to think, and I was like, wait, if we can take, like, we're all, like, let's just say we have a bad day, right? We have a lot of bad situations happen to us, like, over and over and over again. We all have those types of days, right? We're just, it seems like the chain of events is never going to stop, right? Like, just terrible. If we can learn from those experiences, right? And take that bad situation, the roots of that bad situation, and as it starts to sprout, right?
Yeah.
And we can choose a perspective that we can learn from it. That bad day doesn't have to be a bad day.
Absolutely.
There are bad things that happened in that day, but you can make that day one of the most powerful days ever, right? And this is like you were touching on. It is the power of perspective. Whether it be the situation you're in here in America and you feel like you're shit, right? And you remind yourself there's always someone that has it worse, right? The power of perspective, right? And I remember I was just on a flight, right? And I was telling you about this before. Yep. The shit got delayed, right? A whole day, right? So it got canceled, and I missed one day of vacation. And I'm reading this book right now, by Viktor Frankl. It's essentially pretty much he's just explaining his experience in the Holocaust, right? And I was like, he was saying how he used to be in a little concentration camp that was made for like 200 people. There was 1,200 people in that, right? Urine on the floor. They have to wake up there's like wooden beds where they have no types of, comfort underneath the beds, no pillows, right? They would use their boots for pillows. I mean, there was feces, urine. They would have a bowl of soup, like a light bowl of soup every day, and like a part of a bread, right? And it was like they're so malnourished, it's like incredible. And then on that day, it would be cold outside. They would have to go out and and like do work for the Nazis or whatever the hell. In terms of just doing whatever they wanted. And so I reminded myself of that, and I was like, oh, if he can make it through that, I think I can make it through this, right? And I brought that up to my mom, and she was like, wow, that's such a great perspective.
Great point. I will say, though, it's great that you use that and apply that to yourself. But I don't like people sometimes my mom does it. Well, she'll say, I bet you this person's parent will let them do this. Or they'll say, oh, but if this is happening over here, then shouldn't you? I don't like that. I don't like being compared. Let me do the comparing in my own head. But if you had an incredibly horrible day, let's say God forbid someone passed away in your family, and people say, like you said, in the Holocaust, these people lost differently, bro. Don't do that. That's so not necessary.
Of course.
Get that crap out of here. And that's a
really
of course. But that is I think
it's definitely you have to be careful with using that type of comparison, right? Because a lot of people, like for instance, they'll be going through a very hard mental situation, right? There's a lot of distress, they're feeling depressed, right? And someone will be just like, bro, just cheer up. Just cheer up. Okay, first off, dude, it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? It takes time, right? Because those are very serious matters, right? And if someone says, because I think what we have to distinguish here is that with things like missing a flight, for example, right? Like, okay, maybe you're going on a flight to go to a wedding or whatever, of course, don't get me wrong, that's a big thing. But if you can remind yourself, in those types of situations that can make you feel better in the short term and help you with a perspective, right? I think that's okay to use that type of perspective, right? But when it comes to very intense emotions, right? So say, for example, someone dies in your family, right? You don't want to use that type of comparison because I think it will lead to a suppression of emotions, right? And so you'd be like, oh, no, I'm fine. My one of my friends just died. I'm fine. And internally you're bleeding. You know what I mean? And I think if you're able to sit with your emotions, right? And really be there. And it's okay to no one's, I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's bad to feel sad. No.
Always don't cry.
Or just don't cry. Just put your emotions in a hole. Your emotions are there for a reason, right? They're there to show you something, right? And the more you're able to sit with them, the more you're able to be with them in the here and now, the less they'll affect you in the long term, right?
I enjoy, so going back to what you said, is it possible to never have a bad day again? I think bad days are necessary. I really do. I think being able to go to bed really angry at once in a blue moon and you just wake up just calm as ever is such a it's such a just quick change because obviously sleeping is a long it's a lot of hours, but it's just when you just go to sleep and wake up, it feels like you just went to a time chamber and just woke up 2 seconds later. But, so let's say you're going back to the family member passing away. Grieving is necessary. Grief is a very necessary and really big part of anyone's life, especially when you face family member's death for the first time, like a really important family member to you, or like a big time family member, because in life that's the biggest question is what happens after death. And it's just a really sad thing. Every time someone passes away, it just hits you so different every time, and it just makes you reflect the whole day. The whole day is just nothing but reflection and grief and just being grateful, and you just experience all these different emotions throughout the day, whether day, week, month, however long. But you just come along on the other side of it, just feeling different in the sense of like, wow. Like I'm real. Like, so when my grandfather passed away last year, that was my last grandparent that passed away. So to me, that was a whole new passing of the torch. Wow. And to me, I was like, holy crap, like my time is now. It sounds like John Cena. But aside from parents, uncles, and aunts, it's the grandkids. And then some cousins. And it's like, holy crap. Like I'm really, it's just like kind of like The Godfather when they go back and they show, I believe his name was Vito, but they show him when he was younger and goes back to Italy and how he made a living and ultimately became the Godfather and this really big mob boss. And it's like, wow. And in this point in my life, I have this opportunity to honor my grandparents' legacy and going back to like the thing about if the perspective. So for me, when my grandmother passed away, her lungs were very weak because she was a smoker back in the day. Nobody knew about the effects of smoking. And so I have a tattoo on my forearm honoring her legacy. Has some, because her name was Rosemary, so I have some roses. Cool. And for me, it was like, oh, if her lungs were that awful and she felt that terrible, the least I could do was suffer for a couple hours of getting a tattoo to honor a woman who protected me and truly believed in me as a grandchild. And I think going back to the bad day thing, when as sad as I was when I lost family members or I had to cut off friendships, it's all played a role into the person I've become today. And I think whether it's your situation or my situation, everything happens for a reason. I think I feel like you're the type of person that believes in that sort of thing. So when you have a bad day and you wake up the next day and you go, okay, that was then, I'm in the now. Boom. That's like, and seriously, it's just like a movie, man. Like life is like a movie. That's the way I see it. Right now, I'm on like chapter 2. I kind of picture from kindergarten or preschool all the way to now, kind of like the interlude. And I believe life truly starts once, whether it's like after high school, because college is a choice. You don't have to,
of course,
these days. But for our case,
we chose to.
But I think once you're a young adult and going forward, I think that's when all the stuff we're talking about, try and take the risk of starting things, and try and be the best person you can be. I think that's when
absolutely
you get to play on that stuff.
And like realizing that you're like whole and complete in this moment that's
a great thought, though.
And that I love to say this, and maybe we could wrap the episode up on this. You are the masterpiece, but the work in progress at the same time, right? And anything else you would like to say, my man?
Hey, I just want to say, for those who are actual loyal followers to this guy right here, hats off to you.
Thank you.
This guy's a true class act. He's a very intellectual, bright young stud on the rise. It's been an honor to have you on my podcast, and it's been an honor to be here, man.
You'll be on again for sure.
I would love to. Seriously, man. This was absolutely amazing. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, man.
For those who are listening and watching, please subscribe. This guy is an absolute legend. I'm serious. Nobody this guy's age should be talking the way that he talks. It's reading books all the time, meditating and shit. This guy's literally just an adult living.
Don't get me wrong. I have my lazy moments. We're all there.
This guy's a stud.
Appreciate it.
And I mean, other than him posting a horrible clip of me grounding out in a softball league, I'm kidding. But this guy's a true class act. You guys are amazing. For those that listen to him and are subscribed to the Conscious Cow podcast. But it's been a blessing.
Thank you, man.
I really appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Of course. And I I think that's a great place to wrap up this episode. So yeah, guys, make sure you go and check out the Big Fudge podcast. All right, Mr. Mario, the Big Fudge. He is a up and coming star. He already is a star. He's a very hardworking individual, very positive man, and I think you could take a lot of value from him, and I know I have learned a lot today, and yeah, man, I think we got deep for sure. Yeah, and where can they find you on social media?
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. So, yeah, so you can catch me on my Instagram at Mario Malave _ I'm not trying to sound selfish, but I feel
whatever you want, yeah.
You can catch my YouTube at The Fudge Effect on YouTube, and also it's also on my Instagram. So, yeah, those are pretty much the two places that you can find me. Hey, and feel free to reach out, follow me, whatever, if you also want to potentially be on the podcast.
Yes, sir. Heck yeah, man. He's got it all figured out, the whole experience. He's very structured, and he wants to provide you guys with some great content, as I do too. And yeah, guys, with all that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Love yourself because I love you, and we are clocking out, people. Peace.